Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your girl, your host, Annette Harris. I'm so excited to be here with you on today. I am your certified positive mental health ambassador and author of that award-winning bestseller, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. Listen, guys, I know that you're probably trying to adjust your screens. You know, I'm normally on a Wednesday, but it is Thursday, and we're going to bring you another great show. I am so excited today to feature a wonderful, beautiful woman of God that we have really just met on today. But, you know, being friends on social media, sometimes you think you kind of know people already. But I have been blessed to actually meet her on today and through, of course, mutual friends of ours. She is a new author, and so we want to feature her on today. Now, before I get started, Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for who you are, how you are, what you're doing, the blessings that you are bestowing upon us and enabling us to get your word out. We ask that you would get the glory out of this segment and everything we go to say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. And the opening scripture, the first part of Hosea 4:6 states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And we are so excited again to be here. 12 noon Central Standard Time. I know, different day, but same time. I am going to bring in this wonderful guest and ask that if you would not mind engaging with us on today, you can look at us on Facebook, Annette Getcaughtin ANet, my YouTube channel, Get Caught in ANet, and also on Instagram at Get Caught in ANet. Had to think of the different ways you can look at us myself. At the end of the segment, we are going to have this uploaded to Intellectual Radio's YouTube channel. Intellectual Radio is where Mind, Body, and Soul is housed. And so there will be a few different ways that you can go back and look at the recorded version on this particular show. So without further ado, let me bring in this beautiful individual. And she is smiling backstage, bright and pretty there. Thank you so much for joining us on today. How are you, Miss Fairren?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here today.
Good. I'm so excited for you. I have been, so you get a chance to watch people on social media, and I have been watching your posts. And I was so excited about what God was doing through you. And I was like, wow, she wrote a book. Come on. All right. Come on, new author. And then I looked at the title. I'm like, what is this? But it doesn't matter because I'm going to learn about it on today.
Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. Individuals, when you come in, please make sure you like, share, love, tag, you can tag someone right into the comments section. And we would love to engage with you. So if you have any comments or questions for my guest, as we're talking today about this topic, about her book, you know, throw it in there. You know, we'll see if we can engage with you before we end the segment on today. So let me ask you guys this question. I had this on my post as we were highlighting the promotion for today. Have you ever heard of a disorder called Incontinentia Pigmenti? I told Fairren before we started, I said, I may just be calling it by the acronym IP. You can't say that too many times and not get tongue twisted, tongue tied. Have you ever heard? I've never heard of it, guys. I'm not sure if you have yourself, but Fairren has been, I believe she's been instructed by God to go ahead and write this book to bring about awareness. That is how I feel that, what this book will do. Sometimes we don't know everything, guys. Okay. So we have to learn some stuff. And this book, I believe, is going to highlight information about this particular disorder that we never knew about. So Fairren, author of Shining Through My Journey with Incontinentia Pigmenti. And she was born in St. Joseph, Michigan, raised in Elkhart, Indiana. After graduating high school, she relocated to Fort Wayne to continue her studies, where she met her husband. She is a graduate of, is it Trine University?
Yes.
Located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where she earned a Master of Science degree in organizational leadership. She's a loving wife, mother of 2 beautiful children. Her faith in God keeps her anchored and gives her the strength to keep moving forward in life. She is passionate about helping others. I love that. And it brings her great joy to be able to take the burden off of her loved one's shoulders. And she would do anything to enhance that. With just meeting you, I can pick that up. I can pick that up already. The love she has for her family is contagious, and she cannot help but to radiate it onto anyone that she crosses paths with. She is the only girl of 3 brothers and the second eldest, but somehow she thinks she's the boss of them. I like that. I'm the boss of my family too. When she is not spending time with her loved ones, she enjoys traveling with her friends. So far, her favorite place she has visited is Dubai. She believes it is important to find time to rest, reset, and refocus. She believes you cannot pour from an empty cup. She fills her cup up so that she can overflow into the lives of others. Welcome again, author Fairren McLemore. All right, great. Thank you so much for coming again. Let's jump right into this. I want to first ask you, if I know I read your bio, but if you can kind of tell my listeners a little bit about you in your own words, maybe a little bit about your background, and then how we can kind of segue into this particular book and talking about this disorder on today.
Yes. So it's funny because that bio sums me up. Like that is who I am. I have always been passionate about helping others, inspiring others, encouraging others. It's one of my favorite things to do. They call me the administrator of our family because I'm like the manager, I say, because I like to keep things in order, and sometimes be the boss if that,
if that's what that means, right? I get it.
Hey, only girl, I'm the go-to person, but I love it at the same time. I love to be able to take that burden off someone's shoulders. So that literally sums me up there. So I had fun writing that because I got to really break down who I am. So yeah, that sums it up.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good to know. And it's good to know you have somebody that is there who will look out for you, because it sounds like that's who you are, in addition to being the boss in your family. It just sounds like you have a heart for God's people and being able to help them, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. I see you guys coming in, and I just really do appreciate you joining us on today, to listen to this young lady. I even saw, I see Apostle Hunt has joined us. So thank you so much for coming in. I think I saw, did he receive his book already?
Yes.
Okay. I think he made a post about it or something. And I'm not sure if that's what caught my attention, or I may have just seen what you had 1st.
Mhm.
So let's talk about this disorder, this condition. How did you even arrive at this? How did you even come across this? Did it affect you, your family? What's the background story?
Yes. So the background story is my daughter, Kamaya, who is now 9 years old. She was born with this rare genetic condition. So it honestly surprised us because my pregnancy was amazing. Like,
Oh, wow.
if I could be pregnant like that all the time, like, so during birth, like, there were no complications. There wasn't anything that had anyone thinking that we would come to this. So when she was born, there were a few things that we noticed within about the 3rd day
Hmm.
of her being in the NICU. And honestly, even the doctors didn't even know what was going on.
Wow.
So with Googling and researching and the symptoms, so I'll go ahead and break it down. So Incontinentia Pigmenti, it is a rare X chromosome genetic disorder. So it's caused by a mutation, which a mutation is a change in your genes. And the specific gene it's IKBKG. That is the gene that there is a change to that causes you to have this condition.
Oh.
So yeah, so in hopes just to figure out how she got it, so the gene is passed from mother to daughter. Fathers, they cannot give it to their daughters. So
Hmm.
of course I got tested because, we're like, I know that looking at her, I don't have these symptoms. I don't know anyone in my family that I've seen these symptoms. So I got tested in hopes to find out how this was happening. I'm not a carrier. So today we're still like, how?
Whoa.
But yeah, but then we realized that this was just her journey. This was just her journey. So we did our best to educate ourselves about it, and make sure that she has the best care to help her just navigate and move through life.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions for you myself. Now, this condition, so you basically said that there were some things that you started noticing,
Mm.
and you knew there had to have been something else going on after this was
Yeah.
after she was born.
Mhm.
So what are some of the symptoms of this condition? And were those symptoms the things that you noticed?
So there are multiple symptoms. So the first thing we noticed was a small seizure.
Hmm.
Um, Small seizure, and this was like her eyes kind of shifting, kind of this sudden movement. And actually, my husband noticed that. And when we notified the doctors, let them know, they then notified us that she had a seizure. So after that, they started doing all of the testing, and then she had a stroke. And so we're
Hmm.
like,
How old was she?
a month, not even a month. This was like birth,
Oh.
like birth. And so after the seizure, then of course there was a stroke. And so then there were like the pigment of her skin.
Mm.
So I call it like swirls because I think it's just a cute name for it. But I call it swirls. So it's pigment. And then we noticed that her nails. So the nails and the toenails are like pitted or rough or off-centered that's what we noticed. They weren't lined up like, you look at your feet and your hands and your they're lined up, and it wasn't that. And so
Mm-hmm.
we're like, okay. So after the seizure, after the stroke, we looked at her skin, the hyperpigment. We looked at her nails. Um, then they're like, okay, let's go and figure out what is causing all of this. They had concerns about her eating because most newborns they want to eat every 3 to 4 hours. Well, she wasn't doing that. So that's when they're like, okay, something neurological is going on. So we're like, whew, okay. Other symptoms are like the eyes. You can have like a pale retina, or you can be blind.
Mm.
So it's just some things that you have to watch out with that. And then her teeth. Obviously, she wasn't born with teeth, but just talking about the symptoms, um, she has missing teeth, so she doesn't have all of her teeth, or they're peg shaped. So
Oh.
peg shaped. So those are the symptoms of incontinentia pigmenti.
Whoa. Okay. And I'm sure. Okay. Now you have two children. Is she the oldest?
Yes, she's oldest.
Okay. And so you're a new mom
Yes.
dealing with this.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, because you already said that your pregnancy was wonderful. And so it's almost like you didn't even have like a heads up type,
No.
any indication that there would be anything, to look at further. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. My heart just really goes out to you all.
Thank you.
You and your husband, but obviously you guys were on one accord. Like you mentioned, he noticed some things and you noticed some things too. And I guess I'm grateful that, as her parents, um, that you saw that there must be something going on and you wanted to investigate it further. Sometimes we don't do that right away, something, well, no, she's all right, okay, or what have you. Now, on the flip side, somebody else may be like, "Oh, you're too, as you're a new mom, you're just like too." Did you get any of that? I want to ask
You
that
know
real
what?
quick.
No.
Okay.
Because being new parents, like it threw us. Excuse me, it threw us. Because we were expecting. I had an emergency C-section with her.
Okay.
My water broke normal, so I was like, but I actually had an emergency C-section, and most C-section babies they go to the NICU because they're forced out. They're forced out, so they go to the NICU to get oxygen, so they can learn to breathe on their own. And we were doing great. Everything was going great till that third day. That third day, things just started to go downhill.
Hmm.
Um, and like you said, as new parents, we're scared. We're scared. We're trying to figure it out. I couldn't even recover correctly because my mindset is I want my baby to be okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And you
and
have
have
to recover after C-section. That's like a major surgery.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. But that wasn't my thought process. Newborn, and I actually ended up going back into the hospital because I got an infection in my uterus because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Oh.
But at the same time, as a new mom, that's not your thought. Yourself is not your thought. You have this newborn and you're constantly, wanting them to be okay. But it forced me to sit down. It forced me to sit down and I have to give a huge shout out to my husband because at that particular time, he was back at work. I was on the third floor. Kamaya was on the fourth floor. So he would come, he would see me, make sure I'm okay. He would go see her. And we were at the Ronald McDonald House at the hospital, who's been amazing. They were such an amazing help. to keep us close to her. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so it definitely has been a journey, but I'm grateful for it all. It's been such an inspiration. She is such an inspiration. Um, and so I wrote the book to educate, to uplift, to inspire, to say, hey, having that different ability, that disability, however you want to, word it, you can still be who you are
Yeah.
and embrace that. And so because we've taught her to embrace that, that's what helps us to keep going, because we see her shine, and it helps us to shine because we just want to make sure we just keep pouring that love onto her.
Okay. All right. Ooh, there's so many questions I have. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. If you're just not joining us, we are talking today with author Fairren McLemore, and the title of her book is, I want to get it right, "Shining Through My Journey." Am I saying that right? Yeah,
Yeah,
with Incontinentia Pigmenti. I don't know
yeah.
why. I don't know why I shining through, and then there's a colon. My journey with Incontinentia Pigmenti. That's what I want to make sure I say correctly. And so, as you just heard, she mentioned that she wrote the book to bring awareness and to bring understanding to this particular disorder condition that, unfortunately, her daughter and her family were faced with. So you mentioned that it's passed from mother to daughter, but
Yes.
you went to go get tested and you did not have that trait. Well, did they give any explanation for that? How did she get it? And I know you mentioned, okay, you figured out it's just the journey that your daughter had to go through,
Mhm.
but medically speaking, what was the reasoning for that, or did you ever get any?
So through research, I learned that it's passed obviously from someone who's affected. I'm not affected. So other cases they result from variants. So those variants in the genes um, that occur in people who have no history of it. So really, it's just still up in the air. I thought about getting tested, just like family history, maybe just down the line, just to see. Because I know currently, like I said, we had no idea. And then, of course, that eliminated, my husband, because fathers can't pass it to their daughters. Also, it is lethal in boys. So it's lethal
Wow.
in boys. And I have a son.
Okay, so they can get it. It's not just females, but males could get it.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, can I ask you this? Now, was your husband tested as well, even though it's not passed
No.
from a male?
So the genetic doctor told us that he did not have to be tested because it's not something that could be passed
Okay.
from father to daughter.
Mhm.
So we just were advised that it's a 50-50, right? So when we got pregnant with our son, at 8 weeks, we found out that he was a boy, and we were able to test for that gene.
Okay.
Um, and then when he was born, we just kind of examined him and see if there was anything that we had seen on Kamaya, and there wasn't. So it's if a boy survives it, then they have it more severe.
Mhm.
But those pregnancies are likely to end in miscarriage.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And so the second, okay, now your children's name. What's your daughter name again?
Kamaya,
Kamaya. All right.
Mhm.
And then your son's name?
Khalil.
Oh, we got K's. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Kamaya. All right. All right. That's beautiful. Okay. And I'm sure there was probably a sense of relief
Yes,
once your second child was born, because you went through so much with her. What is the age difference between the
4 years.
two? 4 years? Okay. All right. Um, wow. Okay. Mm. All right, we're going to stick with this because, yeah, I have so many questions. I may have to ask you that offline. But
Okay.
I mean, because when you think about everything, it's, you have your first child and then you deal with this situation. And I'm quite sure that it maybe rearranged a lot of your goals and dreams or things that you wanted to do. I don't know. Maybe you wanted to have children before 4 years, after the first one, and maybe this affected it. I don't know. But it could, kind of make you think and make you kind of, do different things. Now, you said your first pregnant, I'm referring back to this again. Your first pregnancy was basically perfect.
Yes.
Did you do anything different once you found out you were pregnant the second time?
No.
Okay.
No. Those were some of the questions that people asked. Like, are you guys scared to get pregnant again? What if we had another child who, was born with this condition? But no, we maybe at the beginning, maybe after learning about it,
Yeah.
of course we were scared, but we agreed to have another one, and I wanted a boy, so I actually prayed for a boy, and he's a boy.
Okay.
But no, we I didn't do anything different. I just was grateful to get, have a boy, and learn that that wasn't the case, only because I knew that there was a possibility that I would miscarry if there was a possibility that he had the gene.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully you can test early. You can test early enough just to see, so you are aware. So
Right.
that's the good part about it.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Well, obviously, God has given you all so much grace. I was listening to that song this morning, guys. Jonathan McReynolds talk about grace.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a minute here. I'm telling you, because we need God's grace much more than we ever thought that we would, just like the words of the song say. And he will give it to us more than we ever thought that he could.
Yes.
And I see God's grace all over your family and your situation, and we are grateful for it. Jasmine Coleman has here, beautiful journey. Thanks for joining us, Jasmine. We appreciate you. Apostle Dion says there's nothing like the love, care, attentiveness, and strength of a mother. You all are divine. I would agree. They truly are. And I'm sure he probably wrote that when you were talking about, you weren't saying about yourself, you were saying about your baby. And hey, I don't fault you. I don't look at you crazy for it. Whatever you got to do, because that's your child. And, you want what's best for them. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have here, the situation with your daughter. Your son wasn't born until 4 years later. Your daughter is now 9 years old. So can you tell me about some of the things that you all, after finding out that this is the condition that she had, what were some of the challenges that you all faced in taking care of her or seeing about her with this particular condition? What were some of the things you had to deal with?
So before we left the hospital, so she was born in May, and she didn't come home to July.
Oh.
In order to bring her home, though, because she wasn't eating, remember I mentioned before, normally, or as they would have liked her to, we actually had to get a feeding tube or a Mickey button, some people call it. So we had to learn how to feed her through this machine. Mm-hmm. Now, I was nursing, and so it's still possible to, give her breast milk. So we would hook up this machine to her feeding tube, and we would feed her every 3 to 4 hours, like, newborns eat. What we learned in the hospital was completely different than when we got home.
Really?
When we got in the hospital, when we learned in the hospital, it seemed simple. It seemed simple, hooking it up, feeding her. But when we got home, the pieces weren't working right. It became, it was frustrating, but you know what? We had to laugh to keep from crying. We had to laugh because as a new parent, we want to feed our baby. Like we want to feed her.
And she want to eat.
Nothing worked. Nothing seemed to work. but we ended up, getting the correct material that we needed. So we left the NICU with literally 15 to 20 appointments for her. We had to instantly set up a dentist, eye doctor, of course, like the normal pediatrician. We had to set up these because the appointments were like every month,
Mm.
because there's so many things. Like for her eye doctor appointment, her retinas were pale. So remember I mentioned that there's like a retina detachment or blindness that comes with this. It We ended up doing appointments every 3 months for her with the eye doctor, because he didn't like how her retinas looked. Um, and then of course the dentist, we just had to get X-rays to see how her teeth would grow in.
Okay.
And then of course the um, seizure doctor, we had to get her set up, and the genetic doctor, because we're constantly, learning about this condition. And then, of course, the seizures we had to monitor. So she gets a EEG yearly. She actually just had that this morning,
Ooh.
and then she gets an MRI every other year.
Okay.
So, and that's just keeping up with, making sure there's nothing new on her brain. Her MRI still shows her stroke. That's still there. So that's stable, which is good. And then she's on a seizure medicine because she's had 3 seizures, but her seizures are absent seizures, which means she's here, but not here, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
So the first one was in the NICU. The second one, she was about 2 years old. And this is just us calling her name. Hey, Kamaya, Kamaya, Kamaya. And she's just looking out the window and nothing.
Mm.
And then the last one was 7 years old, and we found her unconscious. Yeah, we found her unconscious with that one. And after that, they said, okay, she has to go on a seizure medicine to prevent. The seizure medicine helps to prevent oxygen from not going to her brain.
Mm.
Because the last one, we don't know how long. We went to check on her, and she was unconscious, and we don't know how long that was.
Right.
And so after that, that's when we started the seizure medicine. Thankfully, her last EEG looked good, but she didn't want to just stop the medicine. So we'll see the results of the MRI and the EEG from today and see how to go forward. But now every year it's the eye doctor appointment just to check her eyesight. She wears glasses because of it. And then just a normal checkup now. So 9 years old, she's doing great. Just the normal checkups. The checkups went from, every 3 months to every 6 months to a year now. So that's good.
Okay.
That's in progress. And then as far as her, she has a learning disability. So she has an IEP at school to have that additional help.
Okay.
So yeah, all these things that we got to keep up with every, with school and doctor's appointments. But I wouldn't change it. It's rewarding just to see her grow and see her progress. It's always progress, and that's what we look for. Is progress. We're not staying the same. She's in speech therapy as well, and also occupational therapy, which she's kind of been through that since birth. So they monitor that, just kind of make sure she's where she needs to be for her age in school. So she's currently doing that as well.
Wow. I'm sitting here listening to you, and I am in amazement. Listening to you, you sound so calm now, and and it's all that. And I know you're not telling me everything, and you probably can't tell me everything, but all that you are or have dealt with, you and your husband, your family. I applaud you. I applaud the God in you and all that you are dealing with. Someone said on here, Eliza, I believe it is. I'm so proud of you and your strength in God. I would totally agree with that. I would
That's
totally
my
agree with
mom.
that. That's your
Thanks, mom.
mom? Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. I steal people's families over here, so just so y'all know. And this your dad, Ben Pope Sr.?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
he said, God is good. Love my daughter. All right. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us on today. We really appreciate you listening in and giving your support as we talk about this. And again, you just captured me in just listening, because I can just only again imagine, your first child and you're dealing with this, but you're still going. So you talk about, I've asked you about your challenges and you've kind of described a little bit of them. So how did we arrive from there to writing a book? About it. What motivated you to do that? I mean, because so many are dealing with, situations, whether it's with themselves medically or what or otherwise, but they don't always write a book. So how did Fairren get to that point first and foremost of writing a book about it?
I've always felt like I had a story to tell. From the very beginning. A lot of people don't know this, but from the experience of being a first-time mother and having a child in the NICU, I actually helped two other women through it. I had I had a coworker. Her daughter was going through something similar. Her daughter had also a genetic disorder, and she called me and said, "Hey, like I need you to talk to her. I need you to, shed some light." And that is when I'm like, I already love, uplifting people. So to be able to say, "Hey, I understand. Hey, it's going to be okay." And I think that's the important part of it, is connecting with people who understand.
Yeah.
So having that, so feeling like I always had that story to tell. I already started writing before I decided to write a book. I know that's probably, but I already had started writing, and I remember talking to my best friend, and I said, "You know what?" I said, "I want to write a children's book," and she's like, "Do it," and I'm like, "Okay." And so she actually, I was actually, asking her. I said, "Well, what should the title be?" Because it's such a rare topic. And she gave me a title, but the publishing company actually helped me, develop a broader topic or a broader title for it.
Mhm.
So I already had started writing, and with it being a children's book, I didn't want it to be long, right? I wanted to just say what I had to say and get out of there. So I literally, and when I started the process, when I tell you that I had no idea that it would go the way that it did. It was so smooth. It was so quick. It was so quick. I only reached out to two. I reached out to two publishing companies. They send you the material. And I just want to read about it. I just want to see how to start the process. I
Mhm.
want to see what I had to do on my own, or how it worked. But the company Ex Libris Publishing that I went with, they contacted me. And when I say it took off, it
Oh,
took off. I shared it with them, and they were like, "This is material that people need to hear." Um, and here we are, being a
wow.
publisher
So
of my
this is your first book?
it's my first book. Yes.
So you said you had already started writing. So, but you already knew what your subject would be.
Yes.
Okay, you just need to get the title and kind of get going and all of that. Wow, that's
Yes.
amazing. And it's interesting you should say that you started writing. They always encourage you, publishers or whoever that's encouraging you to write a book, to just do
Mhm.
dump writing. And it sounded like that's what you were doing. You were dump writing before, and so then you had something to start off with,
Mhm.
and just maybe kind of organize to get you through to that point. Wow, this is I'm loving this so much. Okay, so when you decided you would write about it, did you talk to your daughter? Did you include her and say, hey babe, I'm gonna, I don't know what you call her, baby. But would you say mom wants to write about, your journey or what you're dealing with? Did you talk to the baby about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's my favorite part. I especially when I got into the illustration piece of it. So I had to send them a picture. And I brought her in from the beginning. I said, hey, this is about your journey. And it's funny because she's like, hey, our books came.
Oh,
And she is, and I love that she wants to be so a part of it. I love it. I've included her since the very, very beginning. And even when the illustrations came in, I flipped through and she just gets so tickled and she gets so excited. I did a book signing event last month and she was right there. She's greeting people and she's, hi, how are you? Every signed book, she's there. And I love that about her because she's coming out of her shell. She's very quiet, but that day you knew that this was about her. She took pictures with me and her. So yes, I have included her through the entire journey. Um, and I'm so happy that I did that because I just love to see her excitement about it.
okay.
Um, yep.
Uh-oh, I'm Tamron Holland again, y'all. I'm crying over here. Tamron Hall, if you're watching this show, I notice how you always cry on your show. Oh my goodness. Because as you're talking, you know what I'm thinking? This book is healing for her as well,
Yes.
in every aspect of the word. So you deciding to write it and allowing God to use you in that respect. I don't know if you realize what you did. I'm not sure. But God is going to, reveal it more. And you even said the publisher was like, this is content we need.
Yes.
My first time hearing of this disorder, of course, is with my interaction with you. But there's so many others that have heard of it. You even mentioned about some support groups that
Mhm.
are geared toward it. I had no clue,
Yes.
but somebody needs it. Somebody needs this. I'll never forget Apostle Hunt. I think he might be still on. When I first wrote my book, he said, um, your book is not going to be for everybody, but it's going to be for somebody.
Yes.
And I was like, whoa, they just kind of threw me back. Like, yeah, I get it. I understood what he was saying.
Yeah.
And so it is with each of us. And I'm glad you said that there was something within you to write, because we all have a book within
Yes.
us. We may not realize, we may not jump on it, be like, oh, I'm not writing anything or whatever. And that's your prerogative. But we all have a story to tell. We have a
Yes.
story to tell. And whether it's something that is going to, help us, help them, or help us and them, whatever. But I do see healing for even your baby and you and your family as well, even through this. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me read some comments here. Oh my goodness, this Fairren just come on here and she's just making me cry, y'all. Just making me cry. Brandy says here, hey there, powerhouse authors. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. And Brandy says, I love the fact that she included her daughter in the process. A lot of parents use their children's stories, but never consider asking permission or considering their feelings. Yes. And Brandy, that is exactly why I asked that question. I just kind of picked up, though, that Fairren did. I really did. I'm picking up her spirit. And like you said, your baby was at the book signing, greeting people and everything. Now,
Yeah.
is she also signing the book, or is it just you signing?
It's just me.
Okay, because maybe it may put a little initial or something like that.
But that is a
Probably,
good idea.
yeah,
That is
probably
a
really
really
make her
good
feel
idea.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She was over my shoulder and it was just the cutest thing. And it just melted my heart. And then even people were like, bring her here too. I want a picture with her too. And it was just, like I said, it worked. I didn't have any specific way I wanted to go. It flowed and people even included her. And this shy girl, like I said, usually she's shy and usually, people will talk to her and she just kind of look, but that day this, I just seen her come out of that shell, and it was just amazing to see. So
Beautiful. So she had no inhibitions when you came to, and told that you were writing a book about it. Was she just like, okay, mom?
yes, that's it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she gets this little, shoulder thing when she's excited, and the days that because like I told you, when I wrote, I didn't have it in any specific order. So when the publishing company asked me, can I have a rough draft, and I'm like, what? Like, this is not even nothing. Like, it's literally just thoughts. It's just thoughts of what I had, but at that moment I had tweaked it a little bit, just because I had a certain way I wanted to flow, and at that particular moment, so I stressed her. I said, "Hey, this is just a rough draft." In the publishing company, the lady I spoke with, she even said that it wasn't by accident that we crossed paths. She thought that God had crossed it because she was a supervisor. She was a supervisor, and usually authors call authors, but this was a supervisor that reached out to me. And I was just like, okay, God, okay. And like I said, the way that it flowed, the way that it happened, um, I still blows my mind to this day. Um, but yeah, you gave me a new idea though. My next book signing, just gonna put her initials or something,
I would love it. Yeah. And I know she would love it too. She'll probably be really, really geeked. Her shoulders will really probably go up, like you said. But yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so how long did it take from start to finish to complete the book?
So I started this in November, and it was fully published March. So
Love it.
4 months, four
Yeah.
months. Because I had already, had some ideas. Now with the illustration piece of it, like I literally had to break it down.
Oh.
And I'll be honest, I didn't know I was that creative because when they said, "How do you want?" I'm like, "Huh? What do you mean?" So it's literally like, I want Kabaya in this shirt, in this setting, in this, because it's a self-published book, which was fun and even doing in that. So even that, I'd ask her, what color shirt you want to wear? What kind of sandals you want to wear? Do you want to wear sandals or shoes? So it was literally including her, because it's a children's book. I wanted it to be fun, but I also wanted it to be educational.
Okay.
And then like you mentioned, the support group. So I've never thought to enter a support group about this condition, and the feedback. Oh my goodness, the feedback. I literally, and I don't know if you see me post a couple of their
Review.
feedback, their reviews, yeah. And literally, I'm like, whoa, this is really something that not too many people know about. So the support from it has been truly amazing. Um, and I'm just, soaking it all in. I just have to give a huge shout out to my Salcall family, Dr. Hunt,
Yes.
Apostle Hunt. They have been so supportive, so encouraging. My church family here, Pastor Bill McGill, has also been very, very supportive. And in my family, I jumped in this. The funny part about it is I didn't tell anybody else right away. I just, I didn't want anybody, shining or putting their fear. You want to write a book? You want to, I didn't want that. So I made up in my mind that I wanted to do it, and I announced it once I seen it through. Once I seen it through, I announced it, what it was about, and even then, the feedback was still amazing from that. So I'm forever grateful. I say so many thank yous because I think it's so important to just make sure people know how appreciative, if you share it, if you buy it, if you like it, if you whatever, like anything, I'm appreciative of just being able to get the word out and spread it. And it's a children's book, but I do believe that it can inspire anybody who reads it, because we all have different abilities, we all have different things anyway, and hopefully it inspires people as much as it has inspired me to just keep going, just keep going.
Oh my goodness, I love this so much. I love it so much. You see me, I'm just smiling, just like I love it. Oh, this is wonderful. And I'm over here looking at the cover. So while I'm saying this, I want you guys to listen because I want Fairren to let everyone know where they can purchase her book, where they can find her, because you want to grab this book. You want to grab it. You can tell, even listen to her on today, that you want to get this book. So let's see here. Fairren, just let us know where we can find it.
So you can find it at FairrenMcLemore.com.
Just as simple as that. So let
This
me
is
see if I can type this in here. Fairren, your
yep.
name, McLemore. And if you look at the bottom of her screen, her name on here. Okay,
.com.
FairrenMcLemore.com.
Mm-hmm.
Now, y'all, that's just as simple as you can do. You can't even miss that. Do you hear me? Okay, so to purchase her book, please, please, please go to FairrenMcLemore.com. You would not be disappointed. I promise you, you won't. Oh, goodness. Okay. And so you mentioned, oh, I'm sorry. Let me read a few of these comments here before we go further, because I want to ask you a little bit more about, since the book has come out. Brandy says here, that's how you do it. That's right. That's right. And I do see Minister Gloria. She says, blessings. Thanks so much. Her other comment, a lot of things you have to go at it alone because you don't want negative feedback. That is so true. And she put 100 on it. She put 100 on there. That's right. I totally agree. I didn't tell anybody I was writing my book except my husband. He's the only one that knew. Didn't tell anyone until after it was done. I got flapped for it, but hey, what do you do?
I did too. I
Yeah.
did too. I didn't even know you were writing a book, and it was necessary to be done that way because people
Yeah.
they can put their fear on you and their thoughts and have you second guessing it, and I didn't want that. I
Yeah.
knew I had a goal and I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew how I wanted to do it, and I told a handful of people, and their support is all I needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Let's see here. I want to see if I can. I'm trying to be fancy, y'all, and see if I can show this screen where you can see the cover of the book. I don't know why my thing does this. Let me see if I can do it. Okay. There's the cover. Now I have to pull up in something else. So, shining through, and my journey with Incontinentia Pigmenti. There's an inside joke with Fairren and I try to pronounce that. All right. And then you have her name here, of course, author Fairren McLemore. So you guys, please, please, please make sure that you support her and purchase her book. Learn more about this situation. You would be really, really surprised how many people are dealing with it or even know about this particular condition. So you are, and I'm totally, just so y'all know, I'm totally off of my questions that I had written out here. I'm just going along with the flow right now. But you've had a book signing, and you mentioned about the reviews and everything that you've received. Was that your only book signing? Do you have more coming up? Do you have other ways of pushing and promoting your book?
So that was my first book signing. I am going to set up another one. I actually signed up for a vendor event here in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay.
That's going to be at the end of this month. So I'm going to have a table set up for people to come by, purchase books, and I'll be signing books there too. But I am going to set up another book signing down the line, which I'll share once I get that set up.
Okay.
But if you're in the area or just want to come to Fort Wayne, I will be posting again. Come see me. Come see me. Come get your book signed. Come ask me questions. Anything you want to know, we're open. We love to educate people about it. Just because we know that people don't know or people don't
Yeah.
even understand. So Come out and see me.
All right. You guys make sure you go and see her. She's over there in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm not sure where you guys are watching us from. And again, if you are not able to get to her in person, please make sure that you go to her website, purchase her book. Are you also on Amazon or no?
Yes. So
Okay.
you can search Amazon. You can search by my first and last name or the title.
Okay.
I just tell people to search by Fairren just because the title's so long.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I understand. All right. So you guys can like go to your favorite your favorite place to purchase items and make sure you throw this book in your cart. If unless you go, see, it came right up. I just did it on Amazon. It just came right up. And make sure you purchase her book on today. This is awesome. I just love this. And I'm looking at the little description that you have here on Amazon. Oh, okay. So as we're ending on today, let's talk a little bit more about your baby girl. I know she's been excited because of the book. Have you seen a positive change in her since the book has come out? And not only in her physical, but her mental state? Maybe talk about a little bit about that.
So as I mentioned before, one thing that we kind of struggled with was just her being more on the not having confidence. We'll say that, not having confidence. And I think so in my book I talk about affirmations that we do, and I realized those affirmations were also for me too. Saying those affirmations and believing those, and for us, I think the biggest shift is that confidence. That confidence it has. Just let her know that, hey, it's okay to, because I think with her maybe not knowing what to say sometimes, it's kind of like, oh, I don't really want to say it, or but we push just being you. And not everybody's going to understand you all the time, but do it anyway. Like, if you're scared, do it anyway. And so the biggest thing is just the shift in her confidence, just her wanting to talk or wanting to ask questions, and just that is what we look for, and that's what we're most excited about. Because even at school, they're saying we've noticed her confidence just is blooming, and it's like, thank you, God, because I really want her to embrace it. So I have the thing that I'm start going by. If you can change it, change it. If you can't, embrace it. Okay. And so that is what I'm going by, because this condition, it's something that she's going to live with for the rest of her life, and we can't change it, but we're going to embrace it, and we're going to still be our best selves, no matter what that looks like, because your best self is different from someone else, but be happy in that. Be happy in being that. And so that's what we keep up with, those affirmations, just to say, hey, not only are we saying them, but we have to believe them about ourselves. We have to believe that we can do anything that we put our mind to. We have to believe that we're capable, because that's the biggest thing. We're capable. We can do it. We might take a different journey. We might take a different path, but we can get there just like anyone else can, regardless of if we have to take a right, somebody has to take a left, but we can still get there. And so that is what we're teaching her, just to be confident. And when we saying those things, believe them about yourself.
Yeah. So she's shining through, huh?
Shining through. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Now, shining through my journey. Now, are you focused on your journey, or you and your family's journey, or just the baby's journey?
So,
or everybody?
You know what? It's a little bit of both. Okay. It's a little bit of both. So the book introduces her, and it introduces the condition, but it also encourages you on the back end. So from my standpoint, it's like, hey, it's okay. From her standpoint, it's like, I'm going through these things, but it's okay to still go through this. So it's kind of both. I really wanted to focus more just on the education piece of it.
Gotcha.
Just introducing the condition and her, and kind of just telling a little bit of like the symptoms and stuff like that through it, and then just ending it with that encouragement.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Well, I love it. I love it. I'm going to get my copy. But I'm grateful that you took time out to, allow God to direct you in writing this. Before we end on today, any words of encouragement, or if you want to give a shout out to your support system before we end on today.
So again, shout out to my entire family. You guys have been my rock through this process. Shout out to my husband. He's always been supportive. He's always been encouraging me. He was another one that said, do it. And I said, hey, we here. Now it's going to take, of course, my church family, my Saul family, my family here in Fort Wayne, from Imani Baptist Simple. And what I would leave, there's so many things. I think I would say, I hope that this book gives parents permission to share their story too. I know sometimes having kids with disabilities, or even ourselves with disabilities, it's tough to talk about. I'm the person that you can call, connect with. I would love to chat with you. Anything that I can help bring light to any situation that you may be going through. I'll be that person for you. And keep shining. Keep shining.
Keep shining. I love it. Well, guys, here you've been listening to my new shiro on today, author Fairren McLemore. And I, again, appreciate you taking time out to join us on today to share this very personal journey with us and, of course, with the world through your book. I appreciate how God has used you to bring this about. And I pray God will just continue to bless you. I bid you Godspeed. I pray that the book will just do phenomenal, winning awards, bringing awareness, and helping individuals through this situation or any other condition that they may be dealing with. So thank you again. And give that girl a kiss for me, okay? She don't know me, but tell her Miss Annette says she loves her, okay?
I sure will. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for inviting me in. It's been such a pleasure. You're such a sweetheart and such a kind heart. Like I mentioned before, I've watched you, and I love your spirit. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time to have me.
No, you're so welcome. I'm so glad for the connection. I really am. Well, you go on, you have a great day, and you be phenomenal in everything that you do. And what Dr. Hunt say, go have a rainbow day.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. All right, guys. As she's exiting on today, oh my goodness, that was tremendous. I really, I appreciate God for connections and being able to bring to you interviews and individuals who are dealing with situations that you may or may not know about, or encouraging you to share your own journey. It may not be IP, Incontinentia Pigmenti. It may be another condition. And you're listening to my guest on today, Fairren. Maybe she encouraged you to do what you need to do to get the word out. So this has been great. I want to thank you guys again for joining me, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, for this very special segment on this week. We will be back in 2 weeks with Dr. Shirley Hill for our monthly health and wellness segment. And we're eager to learn what God has given her to give to us. So make sure you stay tuned. Thank you again, Dad Pope Sr. We appreciate you, and Mom Pope for joining us on today. Let me go ahead and play the promo for the next 2 weeks, and we will see you soon. Take care, guys. On the next session of Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. caught in a net.